Hello everyone, welcome back to my vlog. Now, it is going to be different today. The last few weeks or so I've done what I've got up to in the week type daily vlogs. I did start it this week, but I've just not been able to keep it up. So as the thumbnail says, I've been really struggling. Nothing seems to be going to plan. I was really hoping that I could get a good restart done for September. And it's just not working. So what's going wrong and what am I going to do to fix it? Right. My expectations for the beginning of September was to change the way I did my vlogs, which I did. Try and get myself back into the gym, try and commit myself to doing 2-3 workouts, get my steps in, all of the above. And I was also going to do a daily weigh-in. And that's pretty much what I've tried to do. But like I said, it's not working. I've got my daily weigh-ins and I have literally bounced around the same 1 to 2 pounds for the whole of the month, and pretty much ended up where I was at the beginning of the month. In fact, I've looked back on some of my weigh-ins and I've ended up back where I was mid-August. So it's, I can officially say, as far as I'm concerned, I'm in a stall. So, these daily weigh-ins, yeah, like I said, it's just, it went down, then it went back up, then it went down, then it went back up. Pretty much I have ended up exactly where I started. And it's not helpful, let's put it that way. Right, so I'm going to do a little bit of a roundup and then we're going to work out what I'm doing going forward. So this week, it started off on such a positive. I went out for dinner with my family, my grandson's 16th birthday. So we all went to Miller and Carter and we had a beautiful afternoon. I love spending time. So there was my 2 nephews, my 2 grandsons and the family. So there was 10 of us all together. Ate way too much, but that was always the plan. I was going to go and have a nice good steak, which I did. So I had my steak, I had a couple of glasses of red wine, and I finished it off with a massive piece of New York cheesecake. But you know what? I blew my calories out of the water that day, but I knew I was going to, and I'd made that allowance for myself. I think I did a very rough estimate of my calories for that day, and it was about 2,500. It could have even been close to the 3,000. So it is what it is. But then Sunday, I can't say I had a hangover, but I had a hangover. A couple of glasses of wine and it absolutely threw me to pieces. So I didn't get anything done on Sunday. And to be fair, that's when the malaise just sort of stuck. I've just not had any appetite, using that word literally, to do anything. So to eat properly, to exercise, I've not wanted to do anything. Now, I am very much a bit of a bear when it comes to August. I want to go into hibernation. I'm sure I was a bear in a previous life. I just want to go into hibernation mode. I do suffer with seasonal disorder, affective disorder. I do have a sad lamp. I put everything in place, but it still hits me. I can manage it throughout the winter, but I think the first couple of weeks or so, it still hits me. And I think that's what I've been going through this week. Which is just, it's my normal, unfortunately. So I've definitely not been as productive as I could have been. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still working. I had to go into the office on Tuesday. So that was the only day I've left the house. Managed to get a few steps in just because of the walk to the office, walking around the office a little bit, and the walk back. But that's pretty much all I've done all week. It's been added to the fact that my son's away this week, so he's got the car. So, and it's just given me an excuse to say, no, I'm not going to the gym. I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to sit here and almost wallow. Yeah. Anyway, right. So my meals this week have been, I'd said at the end of the last one I wasn't going to go shopping. I was going to live out the freezer. I've done plenty of pre-planned meals. So the freezer was nice and full with things like bolognese, chilies. I had fish last night. So I've eaten okay. I haven't eaten poorly. Fresh veg has been a little light, but on the whole I haven't eaten poorly. So, and I've sort of kept within my calories, which is at the moment set at around that 1200, which again is why the weight is disappointing. I know I had the big blowout at the beginning, but I would have thought it would have come back around by now, but no. So I'm still up £1.50 on last week. So anyway, sorry, if I pause, I'm reading my notes and I'm going to make sure that I've got everything in that I wanted to. Right, so basically nothing I've put in place that I thought would help throughout September has worked. End of week 4, so for me, it's time to reset again. So I have decided, and this absolutely goes against everything that, every bone in my body doesn't want to do this, but my sensible brain says I have to. I am going to start reverse dieting. I think my calories have been way too low for way too long. Just saying it out loud that I'm going to up my calories absolutely goes against every grain that I have, because it's not what I want to do. My instinct just says cut, cut, cut. I only have a few pounds left. I am literally barely just out of the overweight and into the normal. And this couple of pound fluctuation that I keep playing with takes me back into overweight and back out. So, my percentage is something like, I think my BMI is 24.6 at its best. I want a couple of points buffer. I want to get down to the mid-range. I'm not ready to call it yet. However, I do think I need to give it a boost. So increasing my calories is going to be the way to go. And I know it sounds counterintuitive. I understand the science behind it. I do need to get back to eating by maintenance, but I need to change my output. I need to be burning more calories. I need to get my metabolism a bit of a kickstart because I've got sluggish. So I need to get my steps in and I need to get back to the gym. So how am I going to do it? I don't want to call maintenance. I'm not ready for that yet because that would be my option. But what I do want to do is make my way up to my maintenance calories. Now, my maintenance calories as sedentary, is like 1,300 and something, just shy of 1,400, I think it is. Now, it's pathetic. So I need to get that back up to being a bit more active and get my maintenance calories to around that 1,500. And if I can keep to that for a little bit, and then look at cutting again later. I am absolutely petrified to increase my calories. And this is why I have to do it. It sounds counterintuitive, I know, but I don't want to get into. I've been in the pattern of eating low calories now for nearly a year, and I don't want to get into that pattern. I don't want to be ruled by my calories, and I think I need to show that I can eat more and not just pull the weight back on. I'm massively scared to put the weight back on. I think if we're all honest, we all are. So yeah, that's where I am now. So I'm going to take it nice and slow. I'm going to increase my calories by around between 50 and 100 for the next week, maybe 2 weeks, and reassess. I'm going to go most likely up to around 1,300 calories. So I'm eating between 1,150 and 1,200 now. So I'm going to try and tick it up to nearer the 13. Then give it a couple of weeks, see how I go. And to facilitate that, I'm not going to throw away the scales, but I am putting them away. They are going to get hidden in my son's bedroom because he's never up early enough in the morning for me to go and nick them to do away it. So they are going to go. They're going to disappear. I'm going to try and I most likely will weigh weekly. I would like ideally to go fortnightly, but you know, let's be realistic. I'm going to go to a weekly and take it from there. So, right, let's change the mood slightly. I have had some positives. I've had some really good positives. Like I said, that meal out with the family was fantastic. It's what I needed. So that was really good. I've also had some really positive feedback just in general. Like I said, I was in the office this week and, you know, I was talking to a few colleagues, you know, and they really notices the positive change in me, not necessarily just the weight loss, but in general, just, you know, I don't know, maybe a little bit more positive, a little bit more outgoing. A couple had noticed, not necessarily noticed the Botox, but were saying that I was looking better in general. I mean, I'm an open book. I'll quite happily say, I had a couple of bit of Botox the other week. But for me, that seems to be going well and something that I'm definitely going to most likely keep up. I do every now and then just check to see whether or not the wrinkles are coming back. But you know, that it will come back and I will need to have some more, but at the moment it's settling nicely. And on top of that, I've been trying to keep up with the skincare regime on top of that. It has laxed slightly lately, but the two that I tried, the Skin and Me and the Dermatica, I've cancelled the Skin and Me because I found that the Dermatica had a better concentration of tretinoin in it, and it's working. I just need to be using it a bit more regular than I am. So for me, the Dermatica's been really good. So I would definitely recommend that. And I will link all the discounts that I've got on that. It's I think it gets, off the top of my head, it gets you the first, because it's a subscription, so it gives you your first one for about £3. I think it was. I want to say £2.90, but I'll pop it up if I'm wrong. But yeah, that seems to be working really well. The subscription's really easy to keep hold of as well, because I was able to delay it because I wasn't using it every day. It was lasting longer, so I delayed it to the 1st of October for my next one. So that's just come out of my account now, so that will be here in the next couple of days or so. So I need to keep that up. Right. The other thing that I've been noticing, my sleep's really improved. Now I don't know if that's just my bear coming out and I want to go into hibernation and I'm just happening to sleep a little bit better, but my sleep's definitely improving. And I would say that's most likely down to the HRT. I think that's kicking in now. So I think I'm going into sort of like week 5, week 6 on that. So I think that is really making a difference. I think on average, I'm getting between 7, nearly 8 hours sleep. I think once I've managed to get an 8 hours. But I'm consistently going to bed at 10, if not earlier. I get up between 6 and 7, dependent. But with my waking time during the night, I'm usually getting about 7. Now that compared to at some point I was getting between 4 and 6. So 7 hours is good. I'm happy with that. Right. The other thing that's been not so much a good thing, but I have noticed some hair loss. I'm definitely noticing some thinning, especially on my crowns. I mean, this side is getting really thinner. It looks it on here. And don't get me wrong, this side is shaved anyway. So back at the hairdresser's tomorrow. I've actually got my appointment. So I'm hoping that a good cut will give it a bit more oomph. Again, it's something that is expected. I'm used to having hair fall. I've bleached my hair since day dot. So every now and then my hair goes, gives up. And then I get it all back again. So it doesn't bother me too much, but I've definitely noticed I'm losing more than I would do normally. And again, I'm hoping the HRT will kick in and help with that as well. But yeah, hair appointment tomorrow. So fresh cut after tomorrow. Hopefully that'll make it feel and look a little better than it is at the moment. Right, so I've put myself a little plan together. And you know what, I can honestly say maybe the most disappointing thing for this month is that I've not stuck to my plan. I know what I need to be doing and I'm not doing it. So again, is it a reboot? No, I'm not going down that route. Next week, I'm going to stick with just 1 week at a time. I'm not going to try and look at the long term. 1 week at a time. So next week, like I said, I've got 5 things that I want to do next week to kickstart. And the first one of those is increase my calories. I've got to get over this hump. I've got to increase my calories a little bit. So I'm going to look at trying to get to 1,300, which for most people, I mean, don't get me wrong, I feel I am not eating enough. However, I get to the end of the day, my calories are saying that I'm eating my calories, but the volume of food just doesn't seem to be there. I've not been getting my protein shakes because I haven't got 150 calories spare to be able to have a protein shake, which means my protein levels have been dropping. So I'm going to add the two together, 1,300, and I'm going to focus on my protein. I'm going to make sure I'm looking towards the 100 grams of protein. So that's sort of 1 and 2. My calories upped and my protein. On top of that, my water. My water has suffered ridiculously this week. Again, I've just not been drinking. I need to jumpstart that again. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is next to me all the time. And I'm just not picking it up. And right now, it's empty. It's no good having it next to me if it's bloody well empty. So, water. Got to get back into my water habit. My weigh-ins to help with all this is going to go to the weekly. Like I said, I'm just going to go and hide the scale for a week. I'm not going to have this. This is going in the bin. I'm not doing daily anymore because, it didn't mess with my head in that sense. It didn't depress me, but it hasn't helped. So that's going. Anyone that does daily weigh-ins, fair play to you, but I've done it for 4 weeks. It's not for me. So I needed to try it. And then I need to move more. I've got to get myself bloody well moving. Like I said, I've left the house once this week. So I have put my behind the camera, so that's why I'm pointing over there. Behind the camera is my walking pad. And I did get on it Wednesday. I did my 6,000 steps. Tuesday I got my 6,000 in because I went to the office, and I think yesterday's was less than 1,000 because I can't be bothered to move off this settee right now. So that has to change. I need to up my walking, get my steps in again. And my son's back Tuesday, so I'm hoping we can get back into a routine Wednesday and maybe Saturday next week of getting back into the gym. I'm only going to aim for twice, just try and get back into that routine. So 2 times to the gym next week would be perfect. And the other thing that I want to do really is just be more mindful on my skincare. I think it's laxing slightly. I'm not using all my treatments and everything that I was doing all over the summer. So I just need to kickstart that again. It's like, I know it's down to the nights, the dark nights, and I just want to cozy up and do nothing. So it comes to the evening, I'm like, I should really go and do my skincare, wash my face, and I'm like, sorry, I'm going to bed. And it's that attitude, that malaise that has just set in throughout the week that I need to stop, give myself a good kick up the ass and start it again. So, right, that's the end of half an hour of me moaning and grinding and just, I'm feeling shitty. So, hopefully tomorrow I have to move. I have to go shopping. So I will pop a midweek shopping out this week. I didn't do it last week, so I didn't go shopping. But I've got a massive shop to do. So I've got to go shopping. I've got a hair appointment. So it gets me out for a good couple of hours tomorrow and gets me shifted. And hopefully that will help to shift my mood, attitude a little bit as well. So, watch this space for next week. I don't know if I'm going to do a weekly vlog or if I'm just going to do this again. I don't know. I might try and film a little bit and do a combination of the two, but we'll see. Right, so on that note, I'm trying to end on a positive. I hope you guys are all doing well. I really do. This it's just part of life, isn't it? We're going to come across hurdles. It's not all going to be hunky-dory all of the time. But I had higher hopes for my restart, and it's not working. So draw a line, start again, and let's see where we go. Right, on that note, I am going to leave you. Have a fantastic week. I hope your journeys are all going fantastically. And if you're not alone. It's never going to be linear, and we've got to keep reminding ourselves this. So next week will be better. Right, I will see you all next week. And again, midweek for that shopping update. See you all later. Bye.